Welcome back to another week of the Young Dazzles discussions. I believe this is the fourth ongoing week we've actually had in a row where we've consistently going, so that's always good. I myself, as usual, am Blake Dazaninator Sanity. Joining me today is the one and only Carter SilkyMittens. How you doing today, bud?
Hey guys, how's it going? Blake, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, not bad. I haven't seen you in a while. It's
It's
like
been a little bit, eh?
it might have been a couple hours. We were watching the old LCS together. Casters get together, watch it a bit.
That's right.
Gotta keep tabs on that stuff. But I mean, when LCS isn't on, we're worried about SKL. So why don't we take this little transition? We'll start off talking in the show about the one and only Saskatchewan League. Saskatchewan's premier esports league that is kicking off tomorrow with our first games.
It's kind of snuck up on us here, hasn't it, Dazzle?
I'm excited. It has kind of snuck up. Like I wasn't sure if I'd be ready for this, but it's here, and I'm loving it. I'm ready to rock. So I mean,
Ready as well.
first off, let's get this out of the way. We got a Kickstarter. We threw this out a couple weeks ago. It comes to an end tomorrow, I believe.
It's coming to a close right away. We're on our last stretch here, I think. We've got a couple days left, if that.
I honestly think it closes tomorrow. But I mean, if you guys haven't checked it out already, go check it out. Any support you guys can throw us, we've got some great backer prizes. Well, I guess they're not really prizes, but
Incentives.
backer incentives for, if you got a few extra change, you got some extra change in your pocket, you got some life savings that has a little too much in it.
If you got those dimes kicking around.
Feel free to throw us. I mean, let's look right here. The Young Dazzle. Let's see. I got some of my bar change here. I got a solid like 50 cents I could throw towards our Kickstarter. Get us going here. I got a couple ton of nickels and some dimes. It's almost worthy of a mention on our stream. So I mean, if you guys check that out, I'm sure someone can throw that in the old Twitch chatterino. Go hit us up. I mean, we got some cool incentives. Throw us out. You guys are looking for an SKL mug, an SKL hat, SKL jacket. You want us to fly you here for the finals? Wine and dine you for a night? Hang out with the SKL crew? But I mean, it doesn't come for free. I'm sorry. That is one
Does
thing.
not come cheap.
You gotta be the backer. You gotta be that primo backer of the SKL, the real MVP that we are looking for. But make sure to check out that Kickstarter page as it does close soon. So if there's anything you guys are looking forward to, anything that interests you with the backer prizes, make sure to try and go for it because it does close right away here, and it's an exclusive stuff. We're not selling it afterwards, so make sure you get on that hype train. Going
Absolutely.
forward, though, without
Going
the
forward.
Kickstarter, without ado, I figure with the SKL starting tomorrow, why don't we introduce a little bit about the season? Let's talk. So we had 22 teams register for this season. Not quite as many as we had last year, but I will say seems it might be a little more competitive than it was last year.
Yeah, a little bit. I think after the first season, I think some teams maybe realize that this is a lot more serious than they first. And so I think just generally we've got less teams, but a lot, I think, higher skilled teams. Not to say that we had bad teams last year, but I think we're kind of narrowing down on the more competitive scene of League of Legends and the kind of more competitive group of players that we've got in the province.
It's really starting to shape up. I mean, you guys probably don't know many of the teams. We actually have a few teams that came back from the regular season. We have a few teams coming out from qualifiers that we saw last year that didn't quite make it. So me and Soki thought, you know what? Why don't we introduce a few of the teams that you want to look for while the bracket's going on, because there's 22 teams. How do you know which teams are gonna you want to keep an eye on? So we figured we'd give you a little bit of a rundown here. So Silky, I'll let you start it off. What's a team we should be looking for? I guess why don't we introduce some of the teams that we see returning?
Right. All right. So we've got a new season, but we've got some old blood in the SKL Season 2. We're going to run down, I think, through 4 of the teams coming back that made it into the league last year, and a lot of our higher teams. 3 of the 4 teams we're going to be looking at in a couple minutes are the teams that made it to the grand finals in Regina And I think let's start it off with the ones who took it all home. Although Dazzle, I can tell you this is not nearly the same roster that we saw from this team. And I am, of course, talking about Vicious and Delicious, premium winners of the inaugural SKL competitive League of Legends league here. Let's look at their roster real quick. This is not, like I said, not the same roster that we had last year, Blake. And,
No, not even actually. It's a bit of a fusion between two teams, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. It is a bit of a fusion between Indecision Gaming and Vicious Delicious. I'm going to go through the whole roster here, all 7, including the substitutes in the top lane. We've got Similodon, who was the top laner for Indecision. In the jungle, we've got Pentimento, who is a brand new SKL, I do believe.
As far as we know.
We've got as far as we know. TSM, this could be an alias, of course. We haven't really confirmed and talked with the players, but maybe this is just a name change. But I don't think so, because I'll explain it. TSM Never Lucky is their mid laner. TSM Never Lucky, of course. In the AD carry position, we've got a little tough guy who is... I'm a big tough guy from Indecision last year. They're AD carry and support role, the only player from the starting lineup in this new starting lineup. Mo Money, the captain and the support, bringing us a new iteration of the Vicious and Delicious roster here. And on the subs, we've got Bakery Boy and Poof the Sheep. Now, those two were the top and mid laner from last year's squad.
And yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, we see Smilodon, who was probably one of the shining stars amongst, even with Little Tough Guy. They were definitely kind of the rocks. Smilodon, huge champion pool. The guy played pretty much anything. And I mean, one of the top laners, one of the only top laners that really gave him a run for his money was Poof. Now you got him on the same team. So I mean, that's scary. And I mean, Poof and Bakery Boy moving to that sub position. Not 100% sure. That might just be they don't have the time commitment. I mean, they drove all the way from Alberta last time to make it to the finals. So yeah, they were definitely committed. So maybe just some time constraints there. But this roster looking strong. I mean, they did lose a couple of people, but it looks like they filled their spots with equally talented players.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether, like you said, Poof and Bakery Boy were kind of dropped to the sub roles for time, or they maybe just thought, it's Smilodon's beast, which he is in his own right, but I'm not sure better than Poof the Sheep. It's yet to be seen. Or we could be seeing kind of a dynamic roster, right? They could easily put in Poof and Bakery Boy, I'm sure, in some weeks, and probably wouldn't miss a beat. Those are some players that have, high skill, and were definitely carries for their Vicious and Delicious squad last year. So I could see Bakery Boy and Poof the Sheep putting in some tough, long hours and probably a lot of games this season. I can easily see them doing that.
Yeah, and they actually, and that is a scary thing. I mean, Bakery Boy was also a very solid mid laner, so they're losing that. And then we're also not going to see Freakers in the jungle with that
MVP.
The MVP from the grand final. Yeah, for all we know, I guess that could be him. He might have just changed his names. Maybe he's not playing League anymore. But
very well could be him.
I'm not going to lie. I know Ponox is going to be a little distraught. We're not going to see that legendary Zac jungle. That thing was beast. The guy played monstrous, but I'm sure I know Mo Money's a smart guy. He's very good at theory crafting, so I'm sure we'll see some very good team comps. Should still have that very strong structure going on there. We got another returning team, though, coming under a different name, though, picking up a sponsorship. So why don't you run us through that?
Yeah, I guess I'll run us through this brand new team we've got here. Of course, coming under a new brand, like you just said, formerly known as Thunder Ducks. The team with the best name from last year is back, but under a new banner, unfortunately. They actually got picked up by VM Gaming. That is Viz Major, an organization that has a couple teams in a couple different esports, League of Legends being one of them. I think CSGO as well as Overwatch are some of the teams and some of the games that Viz Major is competing in, and this new roster isn't all that new here. We've got pretty much the exact same roster coming back. In the top lane, we have VM Panda 210. The legendary Gnar player is going to be back in the top lane. In the jungle, we've got Play Pretend, who is actually Metaphor, coming under a new name into the new season. In the mid lane, we've got Taeyong, I think we've been saying his name wrong. I think I got a couple
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
comments about
they.
that.
Yeah, they gave that to us towards the end of the season, so we
Yeah,
gotta
it's
we
it's
gotta
kind of
correct ourselves there.
yeah, it's a little curious how they waited so long, but it's okay.
I feel like he's just one of those nice guys that doesn't want to be
Yeah,
like, listen, guys, like you're screwing up, but he's like, could you
he
say
just
it right
rolled with
this
it.
time?
Yeah. So the artist formerly known as Tae Yang, coming back as Tae Yong, is in the mid lane, and of course in the bot lane it is going to be Pulsis as well as Devmaster J. Nothing new here. Some new substitutes, however. They've got VM Kosi as a substitute here, and Frank Pond. So, some unknowns in the sub positions, and you know what? We might see them. We saw a couple substitutions come in for the Thunder Ducks last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some new faces as well come in sometime during the year, because you know what? We like to think that SKL is the center of the universe, but sometimes there's some time crossover commitment issues, and you know what? We might see these guys in here. So that is the roster for the team that is now Viz. I think they just want us to call them Viz Major. I don't think they're Viz Major Gaming. So
No, I'm pretty sure it's just VM.
what do you think about this roster here coming in? No changes at all.
No changes.
As opposed to Vicious and Delicious, who completely overhauled their entire roster.
The nice thing is, at least, Vicious and Delicious, since, both these teams get buys to the second round of the qualifiers. So they've got lots of time to practice, but the nice thing about keeping the same roster is you don't have to work on chemistry, pulling your stuff together. It'll be very interesting. Hopefully Pulsis doesn't get as much flack from people for only playing champions that require to work with his team, because, if you go watch the guy stream, he doesn't just play those two champions. So clearly he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
But
I've spent quite a bit of time. I think he's one of the only people from SKL that actually streams on a regular basis. I've dropped in on his stream quite a bit, and he pretty much exclusively plays everything except Ash and Sivir. You know what? He's not like running away from the meme that he only plays Ash and Sivir. He's just playing the champions that are strong now, and I think that's just the kind of guy that he was last year. And what was strong for the Thunder Ducks was Sivir and Ash. So, you know what? Whether he just complied with what his team wanted, or that's just what he thought would be best for his team, that's just what he played. So this year I'm expecting pretty much the same, but it's going to be some different champions. I think he's been spamming the Lucian, the Blue Build Ezreal, and stuff like that, and just stuff that's strong. So
especially with the way with the seasons actually move forward, it's that those champions aren't going to work anymore. Ash is kind of very well, not a little bit, but has quite fallen off, as well as Sivir. So
yeah, definitely. I think Ash has fallen off a lot less than Sivir has. I think Sivir is pretty much irrelevant at this point. She definitely doesn't do well against a lot of the strong ADCs, and this multiple ADC comps that come in, Sivir's just not the strongest right now. She easily gets blown up, and her ultimate a lot less useful. I think Ash still has a lot more utility if they want to kind of go that way, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Pulsis is expect some big things is pretty much the bottom line of what we're trying to get at here.
he's gonna break the meme this year. I believe
break
it.
The
in.
trend. Yeah, this is no worrying trend.
And another team we saw at the finals coming in again once this year is Fellowship of the Nerds. Straight across the board, same roster. We've got Harablo in the top. We got Bozgood in the jungle. We've got Jay Frazier mid lane, Baby Trog AD carry, Chaw's good at support, Joe Frazier and Boss 1337 staying as the substitutes. And I felt like this was one team that kind of had a slow start last season, but definitely picked it up. And I still think they provided us with some of the most entertaining games towards the end of the season that you could watch.
Absolutely. One thing to note about these guys is I think it's very worth noting that they believe that there was a lot left on the table, that they might have been able to go further last year. They said, they didn't practice as much as they would have liked, and they think that going into this next season, that if they put the time in, that they can really make a run for this title here. And I believe it, absolutely. Like you said, they are passionate players, and it really shows. Their games were super, super close in the finals last year. The best game, Game 2 in the semifinals versus Vicious and Delicious, was the game of the year, hands down. Just being live and watching it, I was not even casting that game, and I was so nervous for both teams, and it was such a close game. So
I was casting that game, and as I always say, it was nutty.
Silky. It was absolutely
nutty.
It was. You always pull out that term when I'm casting with you, don't you?
That's my favorite. That's my go-to. I
It's your
love that
go-to.
term.
Nutty.
I love that phrase. What can I say?
Gonna
But
start calling
yeah.
you the Nutty Professor or something like that.
I honestly think that they can make it. They can probably be a contender for that top spot. I don't care what the team. They just have this very unique play style, and a lot of teams we saw last season had one dimensional play styles, and they never went away from it. And it either worked or it didn't. And I thought Fellowship of the Nerds was one that would rotate kind of who would be their main carry. They knew they were always willing to try these different play styles, and especially in the finals we saw they had a very like split push heavy where it led to that game that had that insane. They just split push for days. You have other comps where they'll do protect Baby Truck and put him on AD carry. They just have a very unique play style, and they can pretty much go all over the board. And it was pretty much just them and Vicious and Delicious that really were the only ones to kind of break that one-dimensional team play that we really saw. So I would expect to see them near the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think out of these 4 teams, maybe Fellowship of the Nerds is one that you should really, really keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and I guess we did mention this last week, but I will throw it out again this week. We definitely don't have our Notice Me Senpai didn't register this year. Did not sign up, so they do not get that bye spot. So we will actually have 13 teams coming out of this first bracket instead of just the 12 that we originally said. So 3 teams get the bye from last season. That 4th spot was not taken, so we're gonna leave it. Let another team that signed up gonna fight their way through the Swiss bracket to get there. So I mean, we see a couple other familiar teams coming in through that we saw in the last qualifiers. I mean, we've got Low Life Cartels, Revolution Death Squad, Whiter Wong. Who else do we have in here that I noticed from last year? No one. Those are it. Oh, and
Black
ADP.
Lotus Society.
Black Lotus Society. Did I miss them?
I think I saw them in here.
Oh, yes. Wait.
Or did I not?
I don't think they're in here. I don't see them on the registration.
It was just
sheet.
wishful thinking.
Land Before Time. Another team we had in the regular season that
Land
is
Before Time.
returning. And ADP Gaming. And I think those are the only ones that we have returning. So we have quite a few new teams kicking around here. And so, Silky, why don't you take us through one of the teams that you think will be the team to watch during these first couple games of Swiss bracket?
Is this the dark horse section?
I'm going to pick my dark horse.
All right, is this what we're calling this section? Is the dark horse?
I tell you what. Let's go over the teams that we think are teams to watch, and then we'll do our dark horses at the end. So why don't you give me one team that you think we should keep a watch out for? I'll throw one, and then we'll go over some dark horses.
We'll go through. Okay. You know what? For just teams to watch in general, obviously Land Before Time is got to be up there. I think the only other team besides the 3 that we talked about that are actually returning into our regular season, of course, Indecision kind of amalgamated into Vicious and Delicious, but LBT definitely a team to watch. I think their entire roster is pretty much the same except for I think 2 players switched out. I think True Rice went to substitute and they pulled in a new mid laner. So LBT definitely one to watch, but that's not one I'm going to highlight right now. I think Revolution Death Squad is a team that you should be expecting to make a big run for the top 8 and into the regular season. They've got a roster full of good players here. I'll read them out to you guys. And definitely a team that impressed us in last year's qualifiers. I think they just came a little bit short here, but I expect them to make a really good run this season in the top lane for Revolution Death Squad. It doesn't have a top lane. They have 2 supports on here, but I assume one of these guys is a top laner. Either Luke Duke 186 is the top laner, or Loon Shu is the top laner.
I believe Loon Shu is the top laner.
Okay, Loon Shu is the top laner. In the jungle, C9 Genghis Khan, a name that I have not forgotten from last year. Zero Invictus, another name to be remembered from last year's qualifiers. AD carry copyrights. I think he is a brand new player. And Luke Duke is returning as well, the captain and the support for Revolution Death Squad. That is my team to watch coming into the qualifiers in the Swiss bracket. Expect them to make it pretty far.
That's your team to watch? All right. I'll take this. I'll take mine. All right, my team to watch, I think, is going to be Argon 53. They have a roster of people I guess I know, but didn't participate in last season. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a couple of them that I think participated. Anyways, Argon 53, I think they have a lot of talented players. They have 1 player from the LCS last year. They've got Weeblet, the support of Indecision, my homeboy personally. Guys,
you just said LCS.
Oh, SKL. Sorry. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, easy.
Whoa, easy.
Minor slip here. Just watching LCS. All of a sudden, I'm just putting SKL up there with it.
Weeb's good, but I don't know if Weeblet's that good yet.
I don't think he's LCS material, but yeah, played in the SKL. Sorry, last season. Support for Indecision in between him and oh goodness, their other support. I can't remember. Swapped, but Weeblet played a bit of jungle, played some support.
Hot Dog McGee?
Hot Dog McGee, thank you. That is the name. And then so the rest of the roster running on the top lane, we've got Captain Canuck, who I do believe participated in the SKL last year. His team did not qualify. There's Toast and some Toast in the jungle. We met him at Expo, actually. Had some good chats with him. I know he was looking for a team, so I'm very happy he found a team to make it in because he was quite excited. I can tell you right now, that guy plays a disgusting Rengar. I've witnessed it myself. It's very dirty. It's very good. Kind of a scary champion. They've got Prod X in the mid lane. They've got V Caboose V in AD carry spot. Weeblet in support. Oswald and Nubinator are their support. So I also believe participated last year. I think Oswald was an AD carry.
I feel like Caboose is a name I remember from last year too. I'm not sure what team, but I feel like I remember that name. Possibly.
Yeah. That's possibly.
Just like a ragtag team here coming together.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people who may have participated in SKL pulling back together, and that's what I like to see. You know, if you don't have a team, I'm pretty sure this team was entirely formed off the forums using our subreddit. So I love to see that. That's one of my favorite things. I love to see that people are you extending out to the community to find other team members, because that's what the game's about. That's how you make new friendships. That's how you find new people to play with. If this team goes far, it'll be pretty extraordinary to see just this ragtag team of people pull together, make the SKL and go forward. So I think that's my team to watch personally going in. So Silky, do you have any last comments, or do you want to give me your dark horse?
I just have a last comment. I just hope that Argon 53 can really come together here. It's great that they all found each other on the forums, but you know, you got to wonder if they're not friends beforehand, are they going to have that synergy, you know, that bond, that cohesiveness that you kind of see with these like buddy groups that come together and form these awesome teams. They're really good, but they've been friends, so they've got that synergy. It'll be interesting to see if Argon 53 can pull that kind of, act.
And I'm not going to lie, things go great until things go wrong, and that's the true test whether your team is going to pull through or not. I can tell you, I've played a little bit of World of Warcraft in my life, and when things don't go well, people start tearing at each other and groups fall apart.
Exactly.
So we'll see how long they can stick together if things go, but that's my team to watch. Silky, shoot me your dark horse for the tournament. Maybe a team people don't know that you think is going to be underestimated but make it in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if these guys are really underestimated, but definitely a team that I don't really know if I would call them a dark horse, but I expect them to make, a pretty good challenge for this. And maybe a team that will be underlooked is going to be White or Wong for me. And I'll go over the roster quick right away. So once again, I don't know if I would call them a dark horse, but this is definitely a team that I think some people will look over. They'll kind of look at some of the other big names being, Vicious and Delicious VM and stuff. But I think that these guys will take a couple teams by surprise, and I'll go over their roster here. I'm pretty sure I was looking over the roster earlier today, and I think it is pretty much the exact same roster as last year. In the top, we've got Wong Lee Accused. I think the namesake of White or Wong's team name here. In the jungle, the captain, That Poppy. In the mid lane, we've got Hatch Cat. And ADC and support, we've got Mr. T Shrub and Powerful. And this,
I remember Mr. T Shrub.
Oh yeah, and I think this entire roster is back, and they were really close last year, only making it. They were one of the teams that didn't make it. They were just on that threshold, almost making it in, but just didn't quite make it in. And I think this is definitely a team to look out for. They've got some high-ranked players, and they could definitely make a run at this.
Oh, 100%. Also, sorry, I'm not moving to interrupt. I also just noticed Raptors in the Attic are also back. That was another team. I just kind of saw. I'm not sure if it has the same roster, but I just kind of noticed, just scrolling through, making sure I didn't miss anyone. Raptors in the Attic, also a team. But yeah, I mean, that was another really close team. So I guess transitioning, my dark horse pick, I'm picking is ADP Gaming, another team that we saw last time. I thought they did very well. I thought they had a very good shot of making it in. They were that close. I'm pretty sure they lost out. It was one game that made the difference between them getting in and out. Didn't pan out for them. I'm really happy to see them this year, though. I thought they played very well. They had very good synergy. They were one of those teams that kept running wombo combo type things. I don't think they have the entirely same roster, but they played very well. So, I mean, going towards the roster here, we have Azog in the top lane, Flamefire Triple X in the jungle. We've got Eleniana.
That's a new name. That's definitely a new name.
Yeah. And Gamer Dakota and Egg Luosity in the bot lane. Do remember them. A member of Flamefire as well. And then in the substitute roles, we've got Drader and a Wild Eevee appeared. I believe they had Spider Phenom as their top laner last time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's who it was. So I think Azog coming in. But yeah, they were a team that I thought played very well together, and they had great synergy there, and they just barely did make it. So I think this season maybe they'll have that extra kick and just push harder, because they were tremendous. They were a lot of fun to watch as well. So I'm really hoping that they can push their way through and actually qualify for this season, because they're an exciting team to watch.
Absolutely, and those are kind of dark horses. Dark horses. They're not like a team that's gonna totally like odds are all stacked against them, but teams that we think definitely have a shot. I think that pretty much concludes our.
I just want to throw in one team. I don't know. I know we mentioned this, that we have a team actually from the States that is registered.
Right. Nope. I'm sorry. We're totally not done yet. We've got a couple more teams you want to look at here. I think Dazzle.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go over this one if that's okay. Or do you want to take this one?
I'll take. Do you want me to take both teams or one of the teams?
Yeah. You know what? You take them. You take them up. You give us a rundown here.
I'll give you the quick rundown, because we don't know a whole lot about these teams, but boy, these teams are pretty hyped up. I think we've done our research, we've done our background checks, and these guys check out to be some pretty highly skilled players all across the board on both rosters here. I guess we'll start off with GSO Gaming, a relatively unknown team coming into this one, and I don't know any of these names. Like I said, all we can do is like check them out, check their na.op.gg accounts, and do our homework here. But in the top lane, we've got a Jaguar Shark. In the jungle, Deliria, the captain and mid laner, GSO Kotick. Bobby Big Plays, we got it in the 80 carry position, and Player John is their support. This is a team that has one of the highest MMR ratings in the league, so definitely one to look out for. And you know what? These guys, they look good. They're all high. They're all like high diamond on the threshold of master last season. So, you know what? I know rank doesn't mean anything, but if you're going to go by rank, this is a team to look out for sure. But like I said, don't know a lot about them until we get to see them play. So,
yeah, I'm actually very excited. And I mean, they have their own like Foxtrot 5 esports. That's who we're talking about, right? Oh gosh, brain fart.
That's the next team.
Sorry, I'll let you continue with that. But yeah, no, they are actually, like, that's the thing. Yeah, this team actually is extremely high elo. They look very strong. But it's, once again, can they bring the cohesion together, come through?
I really hope so. I really do hope so.
And that's the great thing, is we actually see these high caliber teams registering, because it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I do want to point out, I was pretty sure I remembered, and I was correct. Bobby Big Plays is in fact a Draven main, confirmed via his legal.
Can I switch my dark? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, if he plays it, I'm gonna cry on stream. You guys can see my tears, because I'll be so excited.
Maybe he's the SKL freeze.
Could he be?
Could he be? He could be. We don't know. He's Bobby Big Plays. In all his glory, we will see come the qualifiers. I'm sure he wouldn't be afraid.
If he doesn't use the right skin, though, I'm telling you, man, if he pulls out some kind of garbage primetime Draven, I'm gonna be a little upset. But
so I'm glad you don't like that skin either, because that is my least favorite as well.
Thank you. A lot of people are like, well, it's the best. It's like, yeah, you know, like all the stuff they added was cool, but like, man, the sound of the axe is just gross. Sorry, continue. Let's talk about the last team here.
I'll move on to the team that you kind of hinted to in your brain fart in all its glory, Foxtrot Esports. Is it Foxtrot or is
Foxtrot
it like
Foxtrot 5?
Foxtrot 5 Esports, the FE. These are another group of players. I believe these are import players. These are not national players. These are international players hailing from the United States of America, are going to be coming and gracing us in SKL with all their glory and their presence. and they are going to be another team. I said that GSO was a very high-rated team, one of the highest rated in SKL. I believe that Foxtrot 5 Esports is the highest-rated team that we have competing in SKL this season. So if that does, am I wrong?
Yes, you are. I
Was
do
it GSO?
believe GSO is the highest, and Foxtrot Esports is the third highest, with Vicious and Delicious being the second highest.
Right,
yes.
Screwed that up. GSO is the highest. Foxtrot Esports is the third highest. But this is a team that is coming a long ways. If they make it to the finals, they're going to be coming a long ways. Oh, I do want to say that Foxtrot Esports is a little bit skewed because I feel like, right, I looked at these guys and their MMR is kind of based off their solo queue, but one of the players on the team doesn't actually play barely any solo queue, but only plays ranked 5s. So it might be a little bit skewed here because I do notice looking at the kind of MMR system we have going here that there's kind of like blips. It's all high, 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 and then it's like down. And I looked at that player, and he was I forget what rank, but it wasn't a very high solo queue ranked, but only plays rank 5s, and the rank 5s team is rated pretty high. So I'm not sure if the MMR that we found was just based off solo, but so take that for what you will. I think they're a great team, and if they're going to come all the way from the States, they must be good. They've got to be good.
That's commitment. I mean, they're paying and they're saying that they're willing to come here if they make the finals. So that's quite the pledge.
That's enough for me. So.
No, I mean it's like we said, we won't turn anyone down as long as you're willing to actually make the drive here for the final. You do what you got to do. But I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's the other thing I want to say, and that's what I think is so important about this game. Rank only goes so far. We are only estimating this. You know what? Yeah, they could be as high solo queue, but in the end, if they can't play together as a team, who knows? They might not qualify. I mean, we had a couple diamond teams get knocked out by the young Dignitoast, who is the lowest rated MMR team in SKL, who unfortunately didn't pan out in the regular season. But hey,
they played well enough to make it into the season. So I mean, they got to had something. And like you said, I think the one thing that they did have was the synergy. The brotherhood of the Dignitoast was just too strong for some teams to overcome. I'm going to go over, sorry, Dazzle, before we move on, I'm just going to go over the roster real quick for Foxtrot 5 Esports before we forget about these guys. In the top lane, we've got Tiny Warhead. In the jungle, Pistol 44 EWD. We've got Masoned. I think that's how we're going to say it. We've got In Azure in ADC and Snick in the support. Some really exotic names here. So,
exotic? That's the word you want to use to describe these names, exotic.
Yeah, just kind of weird, yeah. And then in the substitute position, and the captain of the team is Cryptier, Crypter. Crypter? Okay, we'll go with that.
You know how you say Spectre?
Like I said,
Spectre? It's Crypter.
Crypter? Okay.
Yeah.
And in the substitute position, the 7th and final member is Bonds or iBonds. So yeah, these guys sound like they mean business just with their summoner names alone.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I mean, starting tomorrow, tomorrow is our first kick action here. You guys can check out Foxtrot 5 Esports. We'll be playing Motley Crew of Fools at 7 o'clock, as well as GSO Gaming will be playing Raptors in the Attic at 7, and Waiter Wong versus Very Aggressive Gophers. Be kicking off the night at 7. So you can also watch Land Before Time Blaze at 9, Lunatic Peace versus Challenge Journey at 9, as well as and that's it.
That's it.
Those 5 games. That's it. Those 5 games will all be tomorrow. They will not all be streamed though.
I do want to say that just like listening to that is like those are like some of the teams that we talked about today. So that's all the teams to watch. Guess what? You can watch them in the first day of the SKL qualifying tournament tomorrow. How exciting is that?
It's gonna be hype. The opening day. We got the teams to watch on the opening day. We don't want to make people wait. You guys need to know whether me and Silky have been hyping up some garbage butt teams that aren't going to show up. And you come back to the show next week and you say, listen here, Dazaninator and Silky, you guys are garbage. You don't know what you're talking about. Or you watch some of the most fantastic League of Legends and you say, man, these guys at SKL, they know what they're talking. These guys are smart.
Know. These guys know.
They're gonna be like, Silky, this guy over here over here. Yeah, he's over here.
I don't even know.
This guy's a genius.
I can't.
Oh, you can't see me. That's right. Only I can see you. Isn't that trippy?
I can see myself. That's all I need, really.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. But they're gonna be like, this guy, he's so smart. So I mean, let us know. You guys. I want you guys to come back next week and you let us know whether we were smart and we actually picked teams to watch, or if you're like, listen, you guys were overrated, because you guys gotta flame us if we're wrong. It's the only way we learn to get better. So
you guys get to rediscover our beautiful casting voices and personas.
I'm not gonna lie.
We take on a whole new life when we cast.
Yeah,
Dazaninator and I, we just become brand new people, and it's either terrifying or awesome, or both at the same time.
Normally I'm just a thug, but when I'm casting, I'm graceful. I'm like a swan floating through the water on a bright sunny day. Everyone's just looking at me like, dang, that's right. I wish. Moving on. Actually, I'm pretty stoked to cast tomorrow. I don't even cast tomorrow. But I'm excited to watch you guys cast. I'm happy to get back into the old casting. I miss that. So
I am so excited.
Without further ado, SKL tomorrow at 7. Be there. Opening night. There won't be fireworks because you won't see them anyways. So don't expect that. But it will be exciting. Come check it out. We're ready to show you guys why we deserve the Premier Esports League title.
If we get a big enough crowd, I will drive myself to a near gas station, grab some fireworks, and I'll light off a few in the neighborhood and probably get called the cops on me, but that's okay. If we get a big enough crowd, then
I'm writing it down right now. I will hold Silky to this. He will go buy fireworks, and we will make sure you guys can see the fireworks if the crowd shows up to watch the game. So that's on you guys.
Yeah,
putting that on you.
I'm talking like 2.5 people or more. Okay, so that's like
2.5, just 2.5.
I'll count.
So what if Charlie Sheen shows up? Does that count as 1.5 men?
No, because he's only one out of the 2.5. Oh
yeah,
wait,
the kid's not a half anymore. The kid's an act. Okay, you know what? Moving on. We're getting distracted. Show up. Fireworks will happen if we get the numbers. We're holding Silky to it.
I hear that show sucks anyways, so let's just.
Yeah, I've heard it's kind of garbage.
Just move on.
All right. Well, that's SKL news for the week. LCS. I don't really know. There's much to talk about. EU's kind of all over the place. I couldn't tell you if there was a good team or not. I honestly, like, the only team that I can say, you know what, this team's good. Immortals. Energy. That's it.
Oh, we're going to the NALCS. We're skipping right to the good stuff. Is that what you're telling me?
Would you like to talk about EU? I'm not going to lie. I didn't get to watch any of it. I looked at the scores and I was like, I don't know what teams are good because everyone's losing and winning.
I'll tell you this. Origin is losing.
They won this week.
Well, they won one game, but Origin is mainly losing. So that's not good.
Yeah, they have not been impressive.
But you know what? Not a lot of teams are just winning like a lot. So you know what? Except for Immortals, that is.
Let's mix this up. We're gonna jump straight into fantasy, and we'll talk about LCS as we talk about fantasy. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Does that sound fair? All right, so let's hop over to the old draft screen here. We'll go straight into the SKL draft. This is the wrong draft. I was looking at how I lost to Silky in our other draft by 3 points because someone decided not to tell me that Freeze wasn't playing until he was locked in. And I got 0 points off Freeze. Not excited. He beat me with Bunny Fufu getting 1 point.
I do want to say in my defense, NRG got shafted for me as well. I had all tech in there originally in my flex position, but till the rosters were locked, I didn't know that Echo Fox was going to be forfeiting, so I decided to put in Bunny Fufu, but then I forgot that you couldn't switch between days, so I was stuck with Bunny Fufu, and Bunny Fufu didn't play today, so it's just a mess. This week was an absolute. I just want to say before we break down the matchups and how people did, I do want to say that this week was an absolute mess with visa issues all over the place.
Yeah, I want to say Rito personally screwed me in fantasy draft. And I want a re-week. I want a re-week because, I mean, we'll see as we go through this. All right, okay, so I actually beat Crafty this week. Fnatic, I played pretty well. I think they lost one game anyways, but still. Regardless, I got some decent points. Gamsu's still on that hype train. I believe in the Gamsu. I feel like he was a fitting replace for Huni, getting a ton of assists. I still have Jensen in there. I'm pretty sure I changed him for next week. C9 is so inconsistent. I mean, maybe if they stick with high, they'll be back to their thing. Bunny Fufu has not been panning out, as your 1 point would tell you. But I have Altec in there. Echo Fox forfeited, so thanks, Rito. I got 7 points off of their game today. Altec didn't do so hot. Mithy, Origin, still kind of like, but he picked me up 33 points. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain on that one. They had a big win. And today, we personally watched this game. I know Silky is not the most excited, but he's happy. Team Liquid beat Echo Fox after being down 12-0. And
I'm not happy. I am just content with a W. Frickin' scraping by. Oh, don't even. Let's just.
Sometimes you just gotta take a win as they come.
Let's just.
Okay, but in one game, because once again, Echo Fox had to forfeit the first day. Keith got me 28 points, so I'm still sticking that Keith was a good pick. No, I got Counter Logic Gaming. COG had a garbage game today. Only got me 19 points, unfortunately, this week. But Crafty, I'm sorry, you also kind of got screwed, as he had Froggen, who didn't even play either of the days. So
and it wasn't said to like. I think he had a chance to take out Froggen, unless all his substitutes were from EU. Then he probably couldn't have put anyone in, which is where kind of a lot of people's troubles were. Is that you might have been able to take out like people from Echo Fox and NRG this week, but EU was locked already, and so garbage. It was garbage.
And then I guess going forward as far as that, he also had Conquan, so kind of got screwed over. C9 is definitely a weird team to pick right now. Okay, before we get into this, let's go through everyone else's matchups, I guess. We got Cinna, who does take the win over Zoom. Remy only giving him 9 points. Kind of unfortunate with that one, but once again, Renegades, I don't think played. Oh yeah, they did play yesterday. They just got stomped twice this week.
Well, they're still playing right now.
Oh, no, this game's over.
Is it over?
Yeah, tip 1.
Oh, I haven't been watching tip 1.
Yeah. I noticed a Facebook message pop up. Someone said tip 1.
Oh.
But yeah, Cinna didn't have freeze play. Also got screwed by the freeze train. Thanks, Rito. Kind of shutting us down on that one. And I mean, he's got a couple Liquid players. They didn't play too bad. Apollo still a solid pick. I know me and Bodie, we talked about it a bit. We thought he'd be the one shining star. Definitely showing up. Cinna got that Bjergsen, who actually played really well this week. I'm quite happy with how TSM performed, even though they lost yesterday to Immortals, pulling a Dignitas, going for an unsafe Baron. But what can you do?
Nothing. You can bounce back.
And I mean, they played Immortals and lost, so it's the best team right now. Rainover, great pick. And Caden's actually one roster, as well as Zeramali, I think one of the and Big Booty. They were not affected at all. And as you can tell by their points, Caden's beating Zeramali. Unfortunately, Zeramali pretty much would have beat anyone else had he played someone else this week.
Yeah.
Except for
Big Booty.
You and Big Booty.
Yeah.
So you four kind of got screwed in the fact that you guys had to play each other, except for Big Booty, I guess, and Cadence, because they had unreal teams. CLG doing decent in the points. Nuke Duck surprisingly getting points. I still think he's overrated trash, but that's just me. I still don't think he's good.
Wow.
He has not performed to the state that I once saw him, and I until he has consistently good games, I will not praise him. I will not bow down to the Nuke Duck.
All right.
Sven, of course, picking up points. But apparently glitches to win. Let's be real here.
He's a cheater, a dirty, rotten cheater.
That kindred bug.
Yeah, but despite, I think the big thing about Sven or Niels is he picks up big points regardless of his team's record here. 1-3 so far Origin is, but pretty much I think one of the highest point getters this week is Sven. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, especially since they only won one game. But I mean, the game they lost, I think he had a solid score. I think he still went 7-3-3 on that kindred. Yeah. So
because he cheats.
Because he cheated, of course. That's really the only reason. So hopefully Rito bans him. But Yellow Star, yeah, I'm not really sold on his performance right now. He's definitely not playing to the tier he can be. So hopefully, he starts picking it up a little bit. Only got 23 points, and I'm kind of sad. I first picked him last year, and that guy was just money in the fantasy point department. This year, not so hot. Going over to Zeramali's team, sticking with balls, 21 points. That's more than I'd give him. I didn't think they'd played that hot, but Still picks it up. Yarnin getting a lot of points. Vitality actually having a pretty good week for points this week. They didn't look so
3-1.
hot. Yeah, they didn't look so hot last week, but they sure bounced back this week. Going through, I guess let's skip to your matchup here. Let's skip to the people who matter, who are in Dazzles. You lost.
I wouldn't
That's
necessarily
mostly why I wanted
say-
to come here, to tell you that you have two immortal. Oh, never mind. You're also against Pobelter and Adrian, so I won't give you that much. But big
And I did
booty.
GBM as well.
C9
yeah,
is trash.
I got handcuffed here quite a bit in this matchup. I did lose my team called Forever Fourth to C9 is trash. And it wasn't a pretty one. GBM I had in, of course, they were supposed to play Echo Fox, and Echo Fox forfeited, and I was handcuffed because my backups are EU. The EU rosters were locked. I couldn't switch anyone in, of course, and so GBM just had to sit there and do nothing and get me 0 points.
Rito lost everyone. Everyone who lost this week, Rito screwed over. Don't take pride in winning this week, even though I beat Peter.
Yeah,
Crafty, yeah, eat it, Crafty. I beat you, but no one can take pride in winning this week, because let's be real, Rito screwed everyone. But I mean,
That's
TSM,
okay.
I mean, Immortals is basically the Fnatic of last season. If you want fantasy points, if you have one of them on your team, you're rolling sky high, because these guys are getting points everywhere.
Oh yeah, Huni put in a valiant effort this week trying to win this one for me. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to overtake a full, solid roster on Big Booty Booty's team. Huni 45 points. He might have actually been the top point getter this week.
Did you just say Huni might have been the top point getter?
Yeah, who's higher?
Okay, I have a question.
Oh,
are you looking? Because Adrian and Pobelter are higher than him, right across the board.
I lagged.
Lagged on line. I got you.
Okay, so I'm looking right now. He was the third.
What's the thing? Bjergsen had 41. Yeah, Bjergsen's up there.
He was the third highest. Adrian and Pobelter were actually the highest, and that probably helped in securing the win against me this week. Sad boys.
That's where you pick it up. So I mean, let's have a quick look here. Let's see who these point top getters are coming this week. Cadence has actually dropped Sensix? I don't even know who that guy is.
Senkux.
Thank you. And picked up Shifter, who was the week 1 top point getter. Oh, see, we did it too early. They haven't shown who the top point getters are yet.
We're jumping the gun, so to speak.
Oh, never mind. I can look at the 2016 top players. Wild Turtle, Pobelter, Piglet, Mr. Ralaz is number 4 for highest points. Followed by Shifter at number 5, who just and no one owns Mr. Ralaz. So if you guys need an AD carry or you need to fix your flex spot, Mr. Ralaz is open for the SKLeague. Go get him, because this guy's pulling in points. But I don't believe in elements. I kind of have a bad stigma against elements because of certain people who cheer for that team. I make money off them. I can say that much. Win free bets, but yeah, so it's immortal. So I mean, Crafty's got Turtle. We got Big Booty with Pobelter, Piglet. I mean, I'm gonna go look at next week's matchups. I want to quickly check my roster for week 3. Yeah, I took out Jensen and I put in Perks. I don't know if this is the smartest idea though. Who do they play? Fnatic and Unicorns, TSM, Team Dignitas.
Are you gonna ask the chat?
No, I'm keeping Perks in. I'm gonna keep Perks
him
in. Yeah, I don't think C9 will beat Dignitas. They might be able to beat TSM. But I don't believe. Alright, matchups next week. Let's have a quick look here.
Let's see what happens here. Week 3. Ooh. Well,
Week 3.
Look at that.
Is that Dazzle's Destroyers versus Forever Fourth? And all I can say is you're gonna get crushed, kid.
I mean, the projected points seem to tell a different story.
Oh, what is this garbage? Immortals plays Renegades and Echo Fox. I'm so screwed. That's like free 100 points right there. What is
Unicorns of Love also play G2 and Element, who you would think are like, oh, they're not very good, but both 3-1. I don't know. I think Fox isn't going to get that many points as it says. So maybe you do have the upper hand. Who knows?
We'll see, man.
Only time will tell. That we might be singing a different tune come this time next week.
You're coming on next week. Don't think you're getting out of it. I'm
Coming,
bringing you in next week because I want to
dragging
tear
me
you a new
in,
one when I crush you. I want you to be here
or just
to
like
witness your own
cry.
defeat.
You know what? I'll even bring you a little fiddle. You can play it. You can play it when you lose to me, and I'll make you eat your own words, and it'll be glorious. So I can't wait. I wouldn't miss it for the world, Dazaninator. Would not
Good.
miss it for the
Good.
world.
I'm glad. I'm glad. So then we also have Zoom Zoomers versus SKL Stingers. We got Cadence versus Zoom GG. We got the friends going head to head here.
Oh, the
And
boys.
very CLG heavy roster here from Cadence, but it's working so far.
They
I
do
mean,
have a semi-easy matchup against Echo Fox and Renegade, so maybe CLG, the all CLG squad of Cadence will pull through.
who knows the Betsy mid laner from Zooms, but
Oh.
Crafty against Cinna. We've got decent rosters. I'm not sure who's going to take that one. And we got Big Booty Bodie versus Zara Malley. And you know what? I didn't even look at the standings. Who is in first? It's not even going to say. But as far as I know, C9 is trash is 2-0. Zoom Zoomers is 1-1. Forever Fourth is 1-1.
Everyone else
Cinna.
is...
Cinna is 1-1?
Cinna is going to be 1-1.
No. Cinna's going to be 2-0. Up there.
Oh, yep.
With Big Booty Bodie.
Yep.
And then we've got Zara Malley, who will be 0-2. Dazzles will be 1-1. Crafty Squad is a solid goose egg 0-2. And then we've got SKL Stingers of Cadence at 1-1. So C9 Bodie. C9 is trash. Big Booty Bodie, sorry.
It's kind of that time of year that really this doesn't mean anything, pretty much.
Oh, I mean this can't dictate the season at all. So
No. Yeah,
but
it's pretty early, but you know what? That early start never hurts. So Big Booty and no jokes allowed. They're up there.
yeah,
Cinna.
they're fighting for that number one spot. But I mean, let's have a quick look here. Did Cinna stick with his fanboy of Team Liquid? Because that'll bite him in the butt. He's got Matt, he's got the support, but he's got H2K. He's got the C9 team. So we'll see if he can pull out that win. I mean, C9. Oh wait, this is this week. I gotta go look at next week. Oh, they don't play each other. Never mind. We're looking at Crafty taking on Cinna, C9 Bodie going against Zara Malley. It'll be tough. The Team Liquid game. We kind of talked about that already. It's I don't think Silky wants to talk about it. He had to watch that whole game.
Oh, I had to sit through that thing, and I can tell you, I think that's Chris from Manabar. I think that's who that is here. Well, it was not pretty to watch. At least they got the win. They should not be happy with that at all, though. They definitely have some things to work on. All I can say is Piglet is a god, and he carried that game. His score didn't really show it, but he did damage. And same with Phoenix, also on Cassiopeia, but that's kind of to be expected. But they're lucky to win that game.
I'm not gonna lie. I
They
feel
did
like
not
if
win.
Echo Fox didn't have their subs, that would have been scary. I mean, it looked like they just couldn't close the game out. But I mean, regardless, I don't give a crap because Keith pulled me a ton of points because he didn't die. So
I think they just eventually got outscaled, to be honest.
Oh, exactly.
Cassiopeia scales tremendously. They had Tom Kench in the top lane, who just basically become a tank. Early on, the damage is insane, just because everyone's so squishy. But near the end of the game, like that, stalled out. Dardoch was also a god there, stealing, well, not stealing, but securing the Barons, stealing away some dragons as well. That just, it was too close for comfort. The early game was so trash by Liquid. They've got a lot to work on, but you know what? They're my boys. They're my team. They're my squad. So I'm gonna stick by them in these tough times. But they've definitely got some things to work on.
You have to. So I mean, let's get to that time of the night where we got to close out. So Silky, I got one question for you this week.
What's that?
What tilted you? What fed you this week?
Is this tilt and feed?
Tilt or feed? Well, yeah, tilt and feed, I guess. What tilted you and what fed you this week?
You know what tilted me this week? I'm gonna say that it was a great week. I had a really good week, doing just like some schoolwork and just coming up to the first week of SKL. I've been really hyped. So what tilted me was definitely today and yesterday. Team Liquid has tilted me, as a fan of them, and just seeing the hype that they're so close yet so far with this new roster of, they've got Lurlo, they've got Dardoch in for the retired. I Will Dominate. They've got Phoenix and Piglet, the Rocks, and they've got Matt Life in the bot lane as well. I thought this new roster was going to be so good, and they showed some really good things against it, TSM, and then they just pooped the bed and tilted me this week. And but I must say, if that's all that tilts me this week, then that was a pretty good week. But that Dazaninator is what tilted me this week.
What fed you? What fed you?
What fed me? You know what? Actually, before I say what fed me, I want to hear what tilted you this week. I want to hear what
tilted me.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I just want to know. I want to get the negativity out of the way right away, so we can end on that high note. So I want to know what tilted you this week in your life and your goings about your daily routine and all its glory.
Tilted me. Well,
yeah.
I don't really know if I got tilted this week. I had a pretty alright week. I mean, it started off I was kind of tilty. I was getting my keister kicked by my roommate repeatedly by his new Smash character.
Oh.
Before we went to the tournament.
The Smash tilt.
Yeah, and then we went to the tournament this weekend, and I placed where I always place. Sat at that about 13th, 14th range. Got kicked out by a grill. Played a decent Marth. I can't even be mad.
Those gamer grills, they sneak up on you. They sure do.
She played a heck of a Marth. I'll give her that. But what tilted me this week? I don't know, man. I had a pretty good week. One thing that tilted me.
It's good that we're having such trouble trying to find stuff to tilt us, because usually me and you, the salt lords that we are, it's like oh well,
so tilted all the time.
Freaking Dazaninator was feeding in my game. I got so tilted, but no.
But I don't feed anymore.
We're like Dardoch today. We're on this new path of reformation. We found the light, and now just our salt levels.
One thing that tilted me. This is actually not really that big of a tilt, but it actually made me a little sad. One of my favorite sweaters that I have. It's like I put it in the laundry and I was so stoked. I'm like, yeah, I can clean it. I'll wear it next weekend. Can't find it. I put it in the washing machine and I haven't found it. I was actually visibly upset. I can see Minus sneaking in behind me here, but I was visibly upset that I could not find this thing, and it's driving me insane. So that tilted me a little bit. But all right, so what fed you? That's actually what tilted me. I can't think of anything else.
What fed me? Once again, I don't know. This is kind of like a good week overall. You don't really have like a really high point this week. Actually, going to see The Revenant this week.
That tilted you? Oh, that fed you. Sorry, right.
Didn't you just ask me what fed me? Okay.
Yes, I did. Sorry, I read Splee's comment about how he's tilted. He hasn't got his SKL mug yet.
I don't have my time. Splee wants his mug, but he didn't donate to the Kickstarter. See, that is the one stipulation. You got to read the fine print to actually.
You got to be a backer. If you want that mug.
Get the backer prize. I know it's hard to read, but you got to be a backer to get the backer prizes. I know it's hard. I know you're American, and I know that some things are hard to comprehend, but it's just the way it is.
Hey, whoa. Is this the Rip on Splee show, or is this Dazzle's Discussions where you tell me what fed you this week?
Right, sorry. What fed me is being able to rip Splee a new one on stream. Just kidding. No, Splee's a good guy. He means well. But no, definitely what fed me was going to see The Revenant in theaters this week. It was Cheap Movie Monday, and no one knew about it, it seemed, even though our show was pretty packed. The theater itself was surprisingly not very full, and it was like half-price movies. Cost like 500 scene points to go see movies, so all the boys went and saw The Revenant on Monday, and it was...
All of them? Thanks.
No. All the ones that mattered.
Wow. All right, thanks for the invite. Thanks for the invite.
Right. You corrected me there, yeah. The ones that mattered were there.
You're welcome.
Dazaninator was not there, if you can not tell.
Dude, I was going to school. Wait, what time did you guys go? I thought you guys went to The Big Short on Monday.
Oh, yeah. We went to The Big Short. I saw the
Who
Revenant.
is this guy?
I saw The Revenant like the week before. So
okay,
anyway,
well that still fed
you
me from last week. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on a movie like spree here. The Big Short, which is okay. So The Revenant, first of all, one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. I know it's like Leo DiCaprio, whatever. He was really good in it. It wasn't a super acting heavy movie. even though it was mainly the Leo show. And I think he was pretty good. Crafty doesn't think so, but it was just a beautiful. The cinematography and just the landscapes and the locations were so beautiful in Revenant. And then coming to The Big Short this week, definitely a movie that made you think. It was all about the fall of Wall Street in 2008 in the United States, and the housing market crashing and everything like that. So it was more of a thinking film, but still really, really good, and some really good acting performances. Who do we have in there? We had Ryan Gosling, we had Brad Pitt to an extent. Oh my God, who else? I forget. I forget their names.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, and
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Yeah, they were really, really good. Christian Bale was his usual super got into character. He was played a really kind of skinny, nerdy, nervous guy. He played a guy. He had a glass eye, which they pulled off, which is weird. And so he was really great. Steve Carell, who I can never think of as anyone but from The Office. So that was amazing. He played a serious character in this as well, and it was just a great movie. So I think The Big Short is definitely an underrated. One of those sleeper movies you don't think is going to be good, but it's actually really good. So
all right, well, I'll be sure to go check it out by myself since you've already seen it. Just kidding. Okay, one sec. I'll take it back because this is what fed Chris this week, which actually also tilted me this week. I think I told you guys this story, but at the Smash tournament, so we signed up for doubles. So playing with my roommate Mike, we signed up for doubles. And one of the games we're playing, we've been practicing this combo where I play Little Mac and he plays whoever. And when I have my KO punch, he will back throw the person to me and I KO punch them so they can't get out of it, right? Mm-hmm. So we're playing against this team, and this one guy on the team is really good. So he's 2v1ing us essentially. Actually, one of the games he had one stock, me and Mike each had a stock, and he killed us both by himself. Wow. It was unreal. He played it really well. He killed us both on our recoveries. He caped us away so that we couldn't recover onto the edge, and it hit us towards and we couldn't recover, and we both died. But anyway, there's another point.
Plays Mario.
Yes, he plays Mario. So Mike grabs him so that I can KO punch him, and I'm expecting him to throw him because if I walk up and KO punch, I have the potential of hitting both of them and then KO both Mike and this other guy. Mm-hmm. So I stand there and I wait for him to throw it. And then Mike goes like this to me, come on and come hit the guy. So then I'm finally oh, he wants me to run and hit the guy. So I run to go KO punch the guy. Well, he breaks out of the throw, and I KO punch Mike through the sky, and I kill Mike and not the other guy.
And then you lose.
We won that round, but we lost the next one. So we were out of the doubles tournament at that point. And I actually also, that tilted me. The game before, we played the guys who beat me, and Mike was juggling two guys at once off the edge, and for some reason I thought, hey, it's a good idea if I just walk up and KO my partner off the side of the edge, and I did that. So that tilted me. But what fed me this week is probably SKL starting. Because I'm actually been so excited. I really want to cast again. So that's got me really stoked. So that's probably what fed me. I'm not saying this because it's an SKL talk show. I'm just actually really excited to cast again because I haven't really been playing as much League. I haven't been finding as much enjoyment playing it as I used to. So I'm really stoked to get back and cast because I actually have so much fun watching. I enjoy watching the game more right now than I do actually playing it. Mm-hmm. So I'm ecstatic to get casting again. So that's what fed me, is that this is coming up and I've been trying to prep for this. So I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, I definitely have felt a rejuvenation myself in the game. It's something I think that after SKL was done, I think all of us were feeling it's glad it was such a hype finals and it was such a high, and then we all crashed right after. We're we're all tired and we're all kind of done with League of Legends. So we took a little bit of a break. But now it's getting closer and closer, and I think we just can't wait to get back. So I think it's definitely good that we had a little bit break. I'm finding more enjoyment playing myself than I have before. I don't know what – I think it's just the hypeness of the LCS coming back and SKL coming back that I'm myself am enjoying playing too.
Crafty is confirming you never stopped playing, so –
I stopped casting, though, and that was the break I needed, I think, was I play a lot, but also casting on top of it got to be a much higher amount of League than I think one person can handle, kind of, especially if it's not your job. We have all got jobs, we're all students and stuff, and regardless of how much you actually go to class and stuff, we do have other things to worry about too. So I think just both was weighing heavily, and now we've had that break, stopped casting as much, stopped doing the extracurricular stuff with it, and now we're back. And Blake, Dazaninator, I'm so happy to be back, and I also cannot wait.
Me too, man. It's going to be great. I'm so stoked. So, once again, guys, thanks for checking out Dazzle's discussion this week. Hopefully next week I'm going to try and pull as many of the casters as we can into this. And going forward into the season, we're going to start trying to pull more special guests into it. I know we haven't really had as much to talk about these last couple of weeks, but once the league gets going, we'll have a little more to talk about. So I'm sorry these ones have been a little shorter. Haven't had as much content to talk about, but really appreciate you guys coming to check it out. Thank you to Carter SilkyMittens Asselford for coming out today and having a little chat with me, because I know he can talk all day and so can I, but talking by yourself is never fun. So thanks, Carter, for coming out.
Yeah, it was good to be here. I'm always glad to be back. I had a couple weeks off here in Dazzle's discussions. It was a good little break away from the hounding of Sir Dazaninator, but
yeah, get out of here! You guys rip on me all the time. So what they don't see on camera, I feel off camera.
Yeah, he actually just finished drying his tears before we started taping today, so I'm glad he held it together here. But he better be ready for after this stops taping.
Dude,
here.
I've got my Draven figurine.
I'm ready to lay the emotional beatdown.
Yeah, come at me,
so to
kid.
speak.
But okay, that's enough. We gotta close this out. Thanks, guys. I am Blake Dazaninator Zanadine, as usual. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you next week. It probably won't be on Sunday. I'll throw this out right now. It might be. I will be out of town, so I will do my best to try and get it out Sunday night. If not Sunday night, I will get it out during the week. I promise. Thank you for tuning in. Follow the social media. We'll let you know if it gets moved. Have a great night. Make sure SKL tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Be there.
See you guys.
Have a good night. Peace.